Hello guys and welcome back to my base. So I've got some exciting things to show you today that's taken me a while, and I've been tinkering with it for a while. I've mentioned it in a couple of videos but haven't shown you before now because I kind of wasn't quite ready for it. Wasn't quite ready, quite a few things I wanted to kind of fiddle around with for a while, and now I think I'm ready and I'm happy to show. Usually what happens when I build something is that I build it to a stage that I'm happy with it, and then probably every now and again, every time I kind of pass through, I look at something and eventually I'll notice something and might tweak it or change it. So that's the stage we're at, and it is a beautiful day here in Redwoods on Olympus, so what better time to show you guys some new stuff. And I have got a whole load of new things that I've been working on. I've been really busy actually in the last few days, building bits and pieces and changing some things around. So yeah, I've got some cool content coming in next week, yeah, and stuff that I'm excited to show you. Oh, and I've fallen down already. So the first thing I want to show you, let's just not mention that. First thing I'm going to show you in this episode today, I mentioned in another episode, and it's a tree house. So if you see this this zip line goes all the way up into that tree, and I mentioned before that that's a redwood that I've placed down. So that one and the one on the right of it are both ones that I've placed. And the reason why I did that, obviously I have trees all around here. The reason why I did that is that I didn't want it moving. If you look at the top of that one, you can see the tree is moving around, and what that means is if you build anything in it up high, which is where I want it to be, then you get the animation of the tree moving through your base all the time. So it was a bit annoying. So I placed one myself. And also just to mention, like I didn't, so as I've done over there, I absolutely love the tree platforms, but we have no structure, S+ structural support switched off on this server, so you don't really need a foundation or anything to give it a true foundation support. So I thought I'd take advantage of that rather than use the tree platforms. And I wanted to, again, it's always the stuff that I'm building usually on Ark is always just about what I can do or the challenge of doing something that I haven't done before. So you can just about see it up there. I hope it's not too dark. You can see just at the end of there's a little structure. We'll be going up in a second. But just before I get up there, I just want to talk to you about what I did to build into the tree. So there's a number of different ways I could have done it. I could probably actually have snapped in hindsight, just thinking about this now, maybe this is a better way of doing it. But I could actually have snapped a tree platform as high as I could have got it. I think maybe I could have got it kind of, oh, that's not going to help me, is it? I was trying to get a crosshair there for a second. Let's just do this for a sec. So I probably could have got a tree platform. I think maybe the highest one's got up to about there on those snappable eco trees. So this is one of the eco mods. But what I ended up doing was actually putting a pillar all the way from the ground, all the way up as high as I could actually get it. And that is as physically as high as I could get it into that tree. There are, obviously, you can see I'm not at the very top of the tree. There are more parts above it, but interesting enough, when you get up to that kind of height, it sort of doesn't become a structure anymore. You can actually clip through the tree up there at that height. I didn't want that, and I also needed to find somewhere in the tree that there was some clearance to the foliage. So if you look, without falling off here, if you look at that one over there, for example. See that sort of area that I'm marking out in my circle? That would be a good area to put a tree platform, well, this sort of size tree structure. But obviously if you were building it in the middle of all of that, you'd get loads of branches. So it took me a while to actually and that's quite difficult when you haven't got a flyer. So I'm not flying, remember, so I'm only grappling up there. Most of the time I was grappling up there. Some of the guys on the server helped me out with some picks, or I think it was that helped me out with some picks, which was really handy, and I actually hadn't used those before, so that did help. But I died so many times falling out of this tree. There's all sorts of strange things with the trees those sizes, that certain things have clipping and certain things don't. So some of the branches actually have clipping. When you're climbing up the side of the tree, they knock you off and you fall to your death. So it was a very slow process of getting up there, but I'm really happy with it, and I think it looks cool. And again, I think something that I've not seen before, but maybe there probably are people that have done this before, but I've not seen other videos of people building in trees like this. So there's a couple of ways out. Well, the only actual way up at the moment is this zip line. I think there's probably, I may well move the position of this zip line, and maybe put another one somewhere else, but it's only ever going to anchor in the same position up there, and you'll see why I've done that when we get up into the tree. But there's only really a couple of ways up. As you can see on the HUD there, I've got my zipline motor on my my pants, on my trousers, so I can get up there just by myself, or I can take a Ravager, and it does also work for the Gigantos as well. Really what I ended up doing was I ended up carrying a lot of resources up there for a while, as I said, because initially when I was establishing it, I just had to climb up the side or pillar up the side, and I was actually doing the old kind of Minecraft thing of dropping a pillar, jumping, dropping a pillar, jumping, to stand on the pillar to get up there quite a long way. But once I got established, once I got enough of a bit of a platform and actually a grapple, zip line, sorry, then I was able to get, and I'd leveled this Ravager up specifically with weight. So I need to switch the HUD back on to see the target. So we are going to do the fun way of getting up there. I hadn't actually ever used these before. One of the guys gave me one of them. So this is pretty fun. This is quite a fun way of getting up and down. I'm trying not to reveal too much of the other projects that I've going on. So you can just see it coming into view now. And it's quite reasonably sized, and you can see it from other areas. And I deliberately kind of made it a bit higgledy-piggledy, a bit kind of, I don't know if that translates into any other languages, but that just sort of means a bit all over the place, because tree houses that I've seen in real life are a bit all over the place, are kind of what fits. So this is the fun bit. So he will actually get in my way a little bit, so I'm just going to stick him out of the way as much as I can. Oh, and now I'm stuck. Okay. So yeah, and if you come up without the Ravager, that's not really a problem. Usually I just have him kind of here, or I've been coming up with the Giganto, to be honest. So this is the first platform level, and yeah, I'm really happy with this. And you can see what I mean about there being a particular area in the trees that's clear. Actually, I'm really lucky that only this kind of, I mean, it took me a while to find this position. I had to go up and down a bit, and I could go up a little bit more than this, but not much more. But yeah, you'll see that it's actually quite a natural clearing in the foliage from here, so that the branches kind of almost like hug the platform, which I really loved. So yeah, this is a tree platform, and you get weird things so I can't get any closer to that. You won't be able to tell that on the video, but I can't get any closer to that tree. So there are certain things, I mean, I'd love to have anchored it maybe more to the tree, but you'll see as we kind of go around that you can't really see that it's kind of floating, and you won't really get the view of that. So yeah, little kitchen area. I have actually got power up here. I just did that today, just before I started recording. I've got power up here because I'm going to put some feather lights up here flying around, hopefully, and I've got a bulb dog just downstairs just to give it some light effect, because actually it looks really pretty up here in the night. So little kitchen area. I sort of freestyled some of this kitchen a little bit, so simpler than the one in the main base in the other video, but this little shelf on top of here, and I did that using the tried and tested hidden glass wall back there, and a hidden glass ceiling for it to stand on, because those usually want to stand on the floor. And obviously if you come over here you see it looks a bit wrong because it's hanging out there, but from this side you don't really notice that. So put some pans. So this is like this is just the view really, and the seating area. So clipped a few things together. I like these little I think that's from the Eco's interior mod or something, that little side piece. I've clipped it into the arm of the sofa, which I think just looked quite cool, kind of works. So a little bottle of drink, someone's had a Coke or something up here. Yeah, and again you have to do a little tricks there to get that in there. So I think there's a wall in there somewhere. I think there's a half wall in there, because those decorative pieces are technically wall box, like flower boxes, like under window boxes sort of thing. So you have to put a wall down, so I had to put a half wall in there. So it'll sit on the sofa. This is my view. Obviously it's quite a nice little view. And I chose this spot. I just did a little, I've done that a couple of times before. It sort of works and sort of doesn't work. It's the hatchery from CKF with a fireplace in it, and a little table. So that's actually the view out there. That plateau is the view of the CC. So that's where we all started. That's the community centre. So it's really handy for me, because actually when I want to get to the CC, I scoot up the zip line and I jump from here with my wingsuit and I'll land over on the plateau over there. That's part of the CC down there, that structure as well. So yeah, just some decoration up here really. Some of this stuff is standard from the mods. Oh, just get rid of that. So some chairs, again one of those little flower boxes. I used the stable railings around the side because I felt like it fit a bit more with the sort of treehouse thing. And then I added this section in today, which is just it's just a little, I don't know, I don't know really why I did this. It was just, I had this, well to be honest, I had this, it was actually when I put the base down, it was quite large. The footprint was actually quite large up here, and I thought I just need something a little bit different, so I dropped this level. So originally this whole part down here was up on this same level as this, but just sometimes having different levels in a base or in a structure just is more interesting. So I've used the little stairs from the stable mod as well, pathway stairs those are, and then yeah, just a little table, and so it's quite understated down here. Get a nice little view, lovely clear view, no tree in the way here, it's beautiful. So a couple of little flower boxes and stuff, but just pretty simple really. Sometimes I think just the a bit rubber banded. Sometimes I think just a lighter touch sometimes for me just looks a bit. It's very tempting when you've got all these mods to like really overkill it and go heavy on the detail, like really put layer on layer and layer. But there's a point at which you have to stop. I think it's finding that point that makes a difference often. So he's going to be in my way in a sec, but so this is the way down, and we'll go back that way when we come out. So let me see if I can actually, just going to move the Ravager out of the way, because so just as I said before, in terms of there being lots of levels to this, because tree houses are, because you know, when people build tree houses, they build them wherever their limbs are supporting a bit of a structure. So I have to go down this ladder. Oh, this is a bit, there you go, without the HUD on, that's a bit scary. And this is to another little kind of section of it, just like I've hidden my Jenny in there, and I only have the Jenny in there really to power this trough when I get the feather lights up here. And then I really love this bit, but this is kind of, every time I do this I sort of imagine actually pushing through the leaves. A slightly scary staircase, but obviously in the game you can't actually push yourself off that edge. And then this is my treehouse bedroom. Oh, that's perfect timing, my bulb dog's just switched on. Thank you, bulb dog. I can't actually remember what your name is. So yeah, little wash up area. Again, lovely little view. And then this is I'm really happy with the way this turned out. Actually, this took me so long. So this is my bed, and I built the sort of structure, and that up there, you see, that's the tier we were on before, the level we were on before. And I've done things like put the pillars down, so it looks like it's supporting. And as I said before, you can't really tell it's not really getting support from the tree because the tree's kind of in there, and it looks like it could be. So let's just have a little look around the bedroom. So I wanted a kind of a grand sort of 4-poster bed style thing, and this is as close as you can get really. This took a lot of finagling. I'll go through I'll do the bed first, and then I'll talk about some other little bits and pieces that are in here that I'm quite happy with. So those again are the pillars from the eco mod. That's the same as this sort of pillar, and actually what kind of works is that when you're over here, you sort of don't really notice that pillar is coming right through the bed and up into it becomes a sort of structural support for the level above. But yeah, in the room, in this context, it's the pillars of the bed. They act as pillars effectively, so you have to get another snap point, so it's put another fence foundation in there. There's actually a lot of fence foundations littered all around this structure because there's little bits and pieces that I've done that are slightly out of alignment or slightly out of position in order to maximise the space. So what I've got here, I think it sort of works as a 4-poster bed. So I've got the pillars clipped into a bed. I've got a little bookshelf at the end. I've got one of the archway pieces from the CKF, and I've got an Ecos awning over the bed. A couple of little lights over the side, and then I've got this. I think I can get around on the other side. So a little balcony. I don't really know why these little balconies are so awkward to place, but they really are. You can't just clip them on the outside like that. You have to do sort of weird things with walls and things. So let's do all sorts of weird things with glass walls to. So this is quite a nice little spot, just looking out. Yeah, I would like to have been able to put a table in there, but I was a bit worried that if you put a table in there, sometimes you put a table down or people sit on a seat, and when they get out of the seat, they suddenly fall through the floor. So usually that's not a problem, but when you're right up in a tree, it is. These all open. Obviously, that's a plummet to your death, so anyone that's visiting, don't do that. Yeah, a little bit of decoration, just some bits and pieces, really. This was quite a little fun challenge. It took me quite a long time to do that. I wish there were things that would let you do things like this in Ark. Well, sometimes I wish there were ways of doing things simpler in Ark, but then also I think it's just I think it's the challenge of overcoming these things. So I really wanted slippers by my bed. So I had to. Goodness me, this was such a hassle. So those shoes come from the Eco Shop mod, and they're designed to be put on a shelf. And you can't, annoyingly, you can't put them on the floor, and you definitely can't put them on one of these rugs. They won't do it, but if you pick them up and put them on the shelf, they will. So what I had to do, I don't really want to adjust anything here because in case I get it out of whack or whatever. So you'll see, I mean, you can see it now that you look at it. There's 2 rugs there, and the reason there's 2 rugs there is because there is one of the food trays, an empty food tray, on top of the first rug. That empty food tray acts as a shelf, effectively, that you can put the shoes on. So what I did was place the first rug, put the tray on top of that, put the slippers or the fur boots on top of that, put another rug on top of the original rug, and had it raise up, because obviously you can do the thing where you press raise on these rugs, just enough to obscure the tray but not clip into the slippers too much. You can see it is a little bit clipped into those fur boots, but not so much that they don't fit the context. And obviously when you look from here, they look like slippers that I've left next to my bed. So yes, continuing the theme of playing house, here I am spending. I mean, it actually made me laugh when I did it because it took me a long time to get it right, but I'm happy with it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's quite a small structure, but just the awkwardness of being in the tree and the challenge of being in the tree was just the fun of this, really. And I spent a lot of time falling. I spent a lot of time jumping. I spent a lot of time up and down that zip line. Ravager was useful once I'd bred him up and got him some weight. It's just to go back. So this is what I meant about things are not quite in alignment. So the only position I could get this little set of stairs down was in the middle of a foundation or middle of a ceiling. So again, there's to do sort of little things like put a fence foundation down there, put one of these walls down, and hide the fact that there's actually a gap. And if you look there, there's a gap there in that railing. But there's no way of doing it otherwise, hiding it away. Otherwise, it would have stuck out over there somewhere. So yeah, that's the. Oh, this is the funnest bit. So I'll leave the Ravager up here. It's just coming back down again. So yeah, that's the treehouse. And as I said, I've deliberately turned my back because I'm trying not to reveal new things that I've done in my base. Yeah, so I was really happy with it. I hope you guys liked it. Yeah, new stuff to come soon. Thanks guys, take care. Hope you've had a good day.